Hello, and welcome to the Pokémon Lab. Today is going to be the beginning of a little experiment by me to determine an actual objective tier list of the first 151 Pokémon in Pokémon Blue. I'm taking inspiration from the wonderful videos by JRose11, where he plays through Red and Blue with a single Pokémon and sees how far they can make it, how fast they can get to the end of the game, etc. He then places them on his own tier list to show exactly how good each Pokémon is in Red and Blue. I'm doing something similar, except I'm taking a more scientific approach to it all. I'm going to be playing through Pokemon Blue with each Pokemon on the Pokedex, but I want to eliminate as many variables as possible through methods that I'll explain in just a second. My hope is that at the end of this experiment, I will have a de facto tier list that objectively shows which Pokemon are the strongest and how each Pokemon stacks up against the others. I do want to take a second to shout out JRose11. If you somehow see my video first before ever seeing one of his, go watch his videos. They are fantastic, super fun, super enjoyable. If you like Pokemon, you'll like his videos. My rules for each playthrough are going to be the same each time. As I said, I want to eliminate as many variables as possible. So here are the rules that I'm going to be following. Number 1, only use the target Pokemon in battle. If it faints, start the battle over. I'm going to be save stating in front of all the important battles, so if I lose, I'll just load state and try again. Number 2, I'm only going to be fighting required trainers. There will be no random encounters, including Snorlax. I will run from every single Pokemon that I'm not catching for an HM. There will be no optional trainers either. The goal of this is to eliminate the stat experience variable by only fighting battles that are absolutely necessary. Each Pokemon will have the same exact stat experience, allowing each Pokemon's strengths and weaknesses to be the only deciding factor in whether it wins or loses a battle. Number 3, I've used GameShark codes to get certain items from the Viridian City Pokemon Mart. You'll see what items when I get there. I've left that section in the video in its entirety to show which items, and also to show that there are no other cheats active on my emulator. I'm only using these for consistency, essentially, but I'll explain the items once I get there. Number 4, if I lose a battle, I will use one rare candy at a time to level the Pokemon until it wins. I'm going to take into account the luck of critical hits and misses and make judgments accordingly on whether I go back and try battles again without using a rare candy. Say I just get incredibly unlucky, or if I get incredibly lucky, I might replay and use a rare candy just to kind of compensate for that extreme luck. I want it to be consistent. I want it to be the Pokemon that wins or loses. I don't want it to be it got 7 critical hits in a row and just, used luck to get through it. Number 5, I will only be walking. Since I am playing at 4 times speed, the bike is incredibly fast, and I'm already going to bonk a ton. I'm going to try my best to path as accurately as possible and not run into walls, but if I use the bike, that's going to be a given. I'm going to run into a million walls, and it's going to be extremely difficult between playthroughs to use the exact same path with the bike and, not forget, I used the bike from here to here, but I didn't use it in another playthrough. I just want to eliminate that in its entirety, so we're just not using the bike at all. And then number 6, the only items that I'm going to pick up from the overworld are going to be TMs that will be used during the run. So for instance, in this run, I pick up Ice Beam and Body Slam. So I do fight a required trainer. I fight it, it's technically an optional trainer, but I fight that trainer in order to get Body Slam. And that's the only exception I'll make to the required trainers. If I require to fight a trainer in order to get to an item that I need, or a TM that I need, then I'll fight that trainer, and that will count. So yeah, with those rules in mind, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to be using Mewtwo for this first run since it's the strongest Pokemon in the game, and it'll give me a good baseline from which to judge all the other Pokemon, and also because it's most likely going to be the shortest run in the whole experiment, so I chose Mewtwo so that I could kind of work out the kinks, make mistakes before moving on to the more lengthy runs. But yeah, hope you enjoy. I'm going to add some commentary here and there, but yeah, let's begin. So this is the cheat portion. I'm gonna load my cheat save, and I've got free items so that I can get all of them that I need. Rare candies, Master Balls, Max Repels, Max Elixirs, and Full Restores. Rare candies, obviously explained in the rules before, to level up anytime I lose. Mewtwo, I think I only use 1 rare candy the whole run. I'm getting 3 Master Balls just for my HM Pokemon. The Master Balls just reduce the time that it takes to catch them. For instance, Paris is usually what I go for Dig and Cut. And Paris can be kind of a pain in the butt to catch at full health. Just throw a Pokeball at him. I don't want to run the risk of accidentally defeating one, because then that is the no encounters. Full Restores and Max Elixirs get rid of needing to go to the Pokemon Center. I did that just because I think it'll be faster, and I don't really see the point in going all the way back to Pokemon Centers, because some Pokemon are going to have to heal a lot more than others. So I'm trying to reduce the amount of like bloat time by using Full Restores and Max Elixirs, and then Max Repels to help keep the random Pokemon away. Obviously, Brock is super easy when it comes to Mewtwo. He just doesn't have the special stat to fight that. Some of the early fights are going to be very hit or miss, depending on which Pokemon I'm using. Mewtwo obviously steamrolls everything. I'm probably going to say that like 50,000 times throughout this video, but Mewtwo steamrolls. Some Pokemon are going to have a harder time with this second rival fight. Some Pokemon are going to have a harder time with Misty. I just decided to do the second rival fight because if I can get that out of the way early and open up all those extra required trainers and just finish the whole Bill's house thing, get the ticket first, I can just do that. It's pretty easy, and Misty is not really going to be an issue for Mewtwo. Another thing, I am going to go to the Poké Center in Cerulean, but only so that I can use the dig from Vermilion to get back to Cerulean really fast. And for some weird reason, you physically have to heal your Pokemon at the Poké Center in order for it to count when you use dig. You can't just like walk in and walk back out. You have to actually heal your Pokemon. Don't know why that is, but I gotta do it. This is an optional trainer that I'm fighting to get Body Slam. He only has 1 Pokemon, so it's really not that big a deal. Body Slam's a great move to have. I'm probably going to use Body Slam on a lot of Pokemon. Pretty much any Pokemon that can learn it is going to learn Body Slam, so that'll be relatively consistent. And then Mewtwo obviously just rolls the early rival fights. Mewtwo rolls all the rival fights, except for the champion fight. And of course here we have to give a back rub to an old man. I don't know how he became the ship's captain if he gets seasick. I feel like that's something that a novice seafarer would do, but what do I know? And then I also use a save state for the Lieutenant Surge's gym because it's a pain in the butt. I get really lucky here and I just immediately hit it, but that almost never happens. So I always just save state, that way I can just load. If it takes me 5 minutes to look through that, that's 5 minutes added onto the Pokemon's timer that it's not really its fault. So I'm just using the save state to kind of get past that. Surge is super easy, and then we're gonna go. This is the other TM that we're gonna get from Mewtwo. I'm gonna grab a fresh water and give it to the little girl for Ice Beam. Ice Beam is gonna be super useful against Lance and also some of the rivals' Pokemon. You fight Giovanni. The sequence of events is probably going to change sometimes. I'll probably fight other, like maybe a few runs I'll fight Erica first instead of going to Giovanni or vice versa. I'll try to keep it as consistent as possible, but some Pokemon are just going to do better against Erica versus Giovanni, or some people, I might have to skip certain gym leaders that are problem gym leaders for certain Pokemon. It's still the same amount of battles, you're just fighting them at different times. It might affect the time a little bit, but I mean at the end of the day, that time difference is due to a weakness in the Pokemon's ability to, beat a certain gym leader or not. So that time difference kind of matters and is fine to put it in there. But Mewtwo obviously does not have that problem. So after Pokemon Tower, I just go straight down the sea route. I don't take the cycling road because obviously I don't have a bicycle. Defeat Koga real quick. And then moving on to Saffron City. Gonna do the tower first, Silphco. Alakazam poses a problem for Mewtwo. Not necessarily a problem, but just an annoyance later. You'll see with Sabrina's fight coming up, the Alakazam just spams recover because it knows you're gonna do over half damage to it. So you have to slowly whittle it down while it recovers. And Giovanni's pathetic. Most Pokemon really don't have a hard time with Giovanni. I think the only one that really walls a lot of people is the Kangaskhan, but just because it has a ton of health and decent-ish defense. Sabrina is nothing. Body Slam takes out all our Pokemon except Mr. Mime. It's pretty much the only one. He's got better defense. And then a Psychic. I should have used a Psychic for the Venomoth instead of a Body Slam, but oh well. And here goes our Body Slam recovered dance that we're doing here. Until I finally take him out. After Sabrina, we go to Blaine. And then we'll go to Giovanni for the final time. Take him out at his gym. Shame him once and for all. Make him live the hermit life. And we're digging out. But Giovanni's pretty simple, especially with Ice Beam. Ice Beam Psychic for his Ice Beam for the ground type Pokemon, Psychic for the Nidoqueen and the Nidoking. I should have used the Psychic there, but I just was stuck on Ice Beam. Psychic's better for them because it's super effective and it gets the stab bonus. So, and then Rhydon gets the Ice Beam. Now we do the final rival fight. It's still super easy. I'm pretty sure he hasn't evolved. He has an Arcanine now, which I don't think he had before. It was still a Growlithe. I know he's still a Growlithe. Good lord, dude. Throw a Firestone on that thing. What are you doing? Oh, there we go. Another recover dance with the Alakazam. Oh, he gave up. That's good. And then I should have Thunderbolted, but whatever. Use a Psychic. And now we're on to the Elite Four. Final portion of this run. The Elite Four is the only place that Mewtwo struggles in the entire game. And he really doesn't even struggle. He just, after, fighting a full team of the highest level Pokemon in the game, he sometimes loses. Surprise, surprise. The Elite Four is going to be very different depending on which Pokemon we're using. Lorelei really isn't that big a deal. She's got some Pokemon that can be rough. Dugong has Aurora Beam for dragon types, or grass types can be a bit rough. Lapras is pretty tanky. Jinx can be annoying. Bruno, his team just sucks. Gen 1 fighting type was abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. And then having two Onyxes, they have no defense really for being a fully evolved Pokemon. Agatha's a challenge. She's probably the first real challenge in the Elite Four for most Pokemon. Just because she's got Gengar, two of them, and they're very fast, and they both know Hypnosis and Dream Eater. And then Nightshade. When you're level 60 using Nightshade, that's a pretty big hit for some Pokemon. Not for Mewtwo, though. Our boy rolls through those Pokemon. And then obviously Lance with the dragons. Lance can be a bit of a chore. The Gyarados is super weak to Thunder, Thunderbolt, and electric moves. And then obviously the dragons are ice, but they're really bulky otherwise. Mewtwo's just casually taking on Pokemon 8 to 10 levels higher than he is. That one's 12 levels higher than him, and he destroys him. I remembered from a previous run that I did the recording of and it failed. I had to use one rare candy to bring Mewtwo from 49 to 50 so that he had a better chance against the Blastoise and the Exeggutor. But as you can see, I forgot to use the full restore. I used the rare candy, but I didn't use the full restore, so I had to do that one over again because I did not have enough health to fight through, even at level 50. Go into the champion fight at half health, you're gonna have a bad time. I was messing up left and right here. I again forgot to use a rare candy. Came back in at level 49, but at least this time I had full health. Not that it's gonna do anything different. Mewtwo really does need to be level 50 to be able to take on these guys. The confuse sucked. Really, really hurt. Hitting myself twice. Probably could have made it through on that if I hadn't gotten confused. Because I got the freeze on the Arcanine. Arcanine usually does a ton of damage with his takedown, and then every single time a Pokemon would use like a multi-hit attack, it would always hit like 4 or 5 times, so got unlucky on that one. And then the next try, I actually used the rare candy, so I'm level 50. You see that it maybe does a little bit more damage consistently. I get another multi-attack. And I was using Body Slam on the Arcanine. I really shouldn't have been doing that. I should have been using Psychic, because Psychic does more damage. But then, again, just got too low. That Exeggutor with the Barrage does a decent amount of damage. This one is the one that counts. Wing attack from the Pidgeot was not too bad. Body Slam on the Alakazam. So Alakazam's got great special, obviously, but he doesn't have very good defense. Critical hit on the Rhydon. I again used Body Slam. I think I realized my error there and used Psychic to take him out the rest. I don't think Body Slam would have killed from that health. And then also he just used Ember on me instead of Takedown, so didn't really take a whole lot of health away. And then I get the crit on the Blastoise to seal the deal. Oak comes in to berate his grandson, even though his grandson also won the championship. He just got upstaged by me in my genetically perfect Mewtwo. So that's the end of it. Level 51, time ended up coming out to what, 238? 239. It's faster than most actual runs, but that's because most actual runs have to go to the Pokemon Center, and I'm not doing that, which makes it a little bit easier, so I can deal with that. And then the tier list, obviously he's the only one on there for now, but next time we will have more Mons to add. I don't think anything's going to dethrone him, though. He is the genetically superior Pokemon, at least in Gen 1. We'll see, maybe Gen 2 or 3 or something will beat him out. I'd love to see that. But thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was a good time. I'm gonna keep making these, try to put out more as fast as I can. So see you in the next one.